recording now.
Um, but nah, let's talk about these riots right away, because I don't know a lot about it, and I know you probably know more about it than I did. Let me see if I got what I kind of read. Like this one dude was running from the police or something, like in a hot chase, and then he fled on foot, and then the officer confronted him, and he pointed the weapon at the officer, and the officer shot him. Is that like,
We're talking Milwaukee,
yeah,
the
Milwaukee
the
thing?
most recent since. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's my understanding of it. Yeah, and the cop that shot him was actually black.
That part is irrelevant because the system isn't built for black people just because you have a black president. That's almost like having a black president. That doesn't change anything because the system's still not favorable to black people. It's just something you put there to shut black people up.
Sure, okay, I can see that argument, but let's just be clear: it's a half white president, not a black president.
Oh, yeah, 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 that too. That too.
All right. Okay. All right. I can understand that point. But so you were talking about the systemic sort of racism. You hear this a lot. But what are you specifically like identifying as systemic racism?
More so when everybody talks about like the crabs in the barrel mentality, nobody wants to know about like who created the barrel or why it's so hard for them to get out of it in the first place. Like the ghetto or the hood, for example. A lot of people we know were trying to actually get out of the hood when we were growing up, and we saw that, but there's no generational wealth or anything beforehand. It's almost like starting straight from scratch, like straight off the boat, straight off the colonies, fuck England type stuff. Because Jim Crow ended in the 60s, and there hasn't been enough generations for black people specifically to even get away from that.
I, okay, I would argue that uh, there have been enough Actually, I saw a posting on your Facebook the other day. It was like, are we moving back to 1955, implying that people are just blatantly, openly racist? But the interesting thing is that if you look at the statistics of black families, that is, fathers being around the family household, they were actually much higher in 1955. So, yes, uh, enduring white systemic racism, or rather, just that's the idea of the country at that time was shitty, but
Yeah,
for the most part, it was better for blacks to have a father in the household than it is to live in the current system where there are no fathers in the household. See what I'm
I
saying?
still, yeah, I feel you. But I still think like through like what's that? I wish I could know. Planned Parenthood, right?
Sure.
Eugenics. That's it. Eugenics, like that. Like it was so many different experiments going on at the same time to try to control the black population, or like have population control, so to speak, specific to race. That it's only been like 100 years of like free niggas. So they was kind of trying to figure out what to do with these niggas still, like.
Sure. Sure.
Because, I mean, if it's 1876 is when you finally free niggas, and you're like, well, shit, what to do with them now? We can't get rid of them or send them back to their country because we brought them here anyway. Like, they got no homeland, so to speak. They still trying to figure out with eugenics, and then you put the ghettos out,
Well, what
and
do you
you,
mean? What do you mean? They're still trying to figure out. Okay, so you mean like with Planned Parenthood, like their willingness to, you know, physically manipulate the.
yeah, to get rid of all the black, because you got a whole bunch of people that you brought over here just for labor force, and now you got rid of that, but you don't want those people here because you don't look at them as humans as you. But you can't just get them on boats and tell them to get the fuck on. So you have to like create a system to where like, hey, you guys will never be equal to us. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, see, I think it's a little bit different. I think that that's a generalization or sort of an idea that you think that uh, all of the ruling class feels this way, and I don't think that's necessarily true. All right, so there's maybe in the ruling class that's probably true, right? So like the Democratic Party. Do you know who Margaret Sanger is?
Yeah, I know Marcus Singer.
Yeah, Margaret Sanger, this huge eugenicist, talked about the inferiority of the black population and talked about how we needed to sort of get rid of them. They were inferior. They weren't. they weren't okay to breed, and Hillary Clinton actually
Yeah, yeah. Hillary Clinton
cited.
is Martin Singer, but she's always quoting this bitch. And I'm just like, bro, like,
Right, right.
black
It's
people
it's
do this
insane.
shit up.
Okay, right.
Like, I don't
So when you say that, um, yes, the ruling class, you could sort of quote that as feeling that way about black people or about any race in general as feeling inferior or whatever. You could also say that, well, it's not really everybody, right? It's like the